Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Files podcast. It's your co-host, Brandon Deutsch and Grant Mona, here with you today to bring some fantasy talk, sit-start suggestions for the week, winners and losers of fantasy so far this season and throughout the week. Just some regular football stuff, too. There's so many topics this year. I know the primetime games haven't been great, a lot of blowouts. Let's start with the first one from Sunday Night Football. San Francisco 49ers.
Let's do it. Oh, we've been waiting for this. This is why we held off a little bit.
We've been waiting because we were talking a lot that talk about the Cowboys, all right? I was saying Cowboys have Deion Sanders? No. Do they have Troy Aikman? No. Do they have Michael Irvin? No. Okay? But, and what do I say? Then they're never winning a Super Bowl. They're not. They're just not, and they're not good, and they're a tier below the Niners and Eagles. There might be 2 tiers below. They might be a tier below the Lions right now. Now, I do think they'll go and win 10, 11 games still because I just think the Niners are that good. But, again, I think this shows less about the Cowboys being bad and more about, like, the Niners. Like, everything's working for them so far.
Well, it's a little bit of both. Let's be real.
Yes. But Dak always sees ghosts against the 49ers. This is nothing new. You know, and I like Dak, great human being. I think he gets a lot of flack in the media. He's a nice guy. But again, that comes with being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Right. Tony Pollard played like crap. Let's say it how it is. They didn't have a good game plan for him.
They didn't do much of anything right.
I guarantee you if Kellen Moore was calling those plays, it would have been a closer game.
Oh, yeah.
But what are your thoughts first on Purdy, on the Niners, and the Cowboys in general?
First of all, I want to say that all those people that were in our comments talking about the Cowboys and how we were wrong about them and how we were calling them overrated and what are we talking about, we were right. Like, weeks later, we were right. We knew. I
can't remember when we're ever wrong.
I mean, we're wrong a lot. But about this one.
Wait. When are we wrong?
We're wrong sometimes.
Let's think about it. Let's go through now.
We're not batting 1,000. Let's just say that.
We're not batting 1,000. I'm not trying to sound like a narcissist. I'm just saying, like, a lot of analysts are 30%, 50%. Yeah. We're at least 70 to 80%.
And look, people, at least you gave us a little bit of viewership. You got some engagement for us. Thank you for that. But we were right about the Cowboys, and that is for you guys. Now, back to this. The Cowboys didn't do anything right offensively. They were terrible offensively. Their game plan is archaic. They don't know how to run the football. They don't know how to throw the football. Their quarterback, I don't care what Jerry Jones says. He is not equipped to lead that team to a Super Bowl. Jerry Jones said that already. He said, we're going to stick with him. I know that he can get us to a Super Bowl. That's just wrong. And you know what? I have to give so much credit again to the 49ers because it just seems like they're getting better every week. Like we thought, first 2 weeks against the Rams, they were a little shaky. The Rams played them very well, and that was to be expected because the Rams are a little bit better than expected. But after that, I mean, just butt whoopings everywhere. The Niners, they can do it on the ground. They can do it over the air. Brock Purdy, what did I say? Not a system quarterback.
You were
talented.
On Brock Purdy.
Actually talented. People kept saying, it's only because Kyle Shanahan's doing this and that. All he has to do is throw it 5 yards. Okay, so what? Look at what he did against the Cowboys, throwing it across the field to Ayuk, to Debo, to Kittle. Perfect passes. I'm telling you, perfect.
And does he ever get flustered?
No. Pressure comes, flush out. Let's reset. Feet are great. He's poised in the pocket. Like we've said many times, he's tough. He's got moxie. I've loved Brock Purdy. I'm a Rams fan saying this. Not a lot of Rams fans can admit that the Niners are elite and that Brock Purdy is good. I am one of them because I just love football and I know football. And the Niners are clicking on all cylinders. Their defense is insane. Hargrave, Bosa, Lenoir, you name it. They have Fred Warner.
Gregory's now going to come in.
Fred Warner, they just got Randy Gregory. They don't even need him, but hey, why not? Bring him along. Fred Warner looks like one of the best linebackers I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, he was guarding wide receivers.
He can guard receivers at a 4-4 that run 4-4s and also get to the quarterback and play coverage in the middle of the field.
I think we need to have, by the way.
Let's have a conversation.
We need to have a conversation. I think Fred Warner is the defensive player of the year right now.
I mean, I would not even doubt that.
It's him or TJ Watt.
Micah Parsons, the hype has fallen off a little bit.
Well, he was locked up by Trent. When you go against big bodies, when you're not playing the Giants, when you're not playing the Cardinals,
thank you. What do we? Oh
my
God! It's like everything that we said about the Cowboys.
All I know is the Steelers' defense is elite, and what the Niners put on them? A 30. Say it again. A 30. That's what they put on the Steelers. All right, I'm just saying right now, the Niners.
They're a tier above. That's my main point. Is that they're just a tier, maybe two above everybody else. Even the Eagles. I was not really.
I mean, you were at the game.
I was at the Rams-Eagles game.
Before we get into that, I wanted to just say,
Yeah,
I think if the season ended today, bias aside, just because of the versatility. Now, I know TJ Watt is single-handedly winning the Steelers games, and he absolutely is probably the front runner to win Defensive Player of the Year right now, I would assume, because he's literally – Kenny Pickett has sucked. He's looked like a deer in headlights.
He's been pretty
and
bad.
TJ Watt always forces fumbles and gets recovery touchdowns and sacks. I mean, if he's healthy, this is why a lot of people, and we'll talk about the Steelers too, but a lot of people were saying, Steelers, they're not going to win 9-10 games. They won 9-10 games last year without TJ Watt for half the season.
They were 9-8.
Okay, and by the way, this is a team that's leading the division. Is going to win 10 games again. If you just look at their schedule, they win at home. Tomlin's a great coach, and they got a great defense.
I can't believe the Ravens lost that game.
That's more about the Ravens' play calling. They've always had issues. The Ravens should almost never lose a game the way that team's built defensively, and having Lamar and now Zay. I know they're dropping passes. We'll get into that. But Fred Warner, if the season ended today, he gets my vote for Defensive Player of the Year because of his versatility, going out and guarding guys that run 4.4s, going out and not falling for the pump fake and going and sacking Dak Prescott, all of the forced interceptions, forced fumbles, coverage. Him and Drake Greenlaw are a beast that cannot be broken right now. You have an opposing tight end that tries to get through that seam route right now. You can't do it. I mean, the corners aren't even Shavarius Ward is playing the best football I've ever seen him play. He's a lockdown corner. Lenoir is playing well all of a sudden. And look, I know that's probably their weakness, but is it that much of a weakness? Like, if we're looking at it, like, what are the Niners' weaknesses right now?
Well, I was just going to say, like, the reason why they're getting away with it right now is because their line is so good that it kind of forces the quarterback to make bad throws down the field. It forces bad coverage, good coverage down the field because they don't have a lot of time to throw. You have pressure on you almost all the time, so that helps the secondary. Lenoir and Ward don't have to be elite for them to be successful.
But that was the Niners' defense. I think they heard the talk. They played bad in a few games that they really should have played better. Like, they should not have allowed 20-plus points to the Cardinals. They should have allowed 12 to the Giants or 20-plus to the Rams. And they heard that. And in a big game, they stepped up. So good, congrats to them. They're going to revert a little bit. They're not going to be as hyped for that Cleveland game. It'll probably be a little closer than people think, especially since Cleveland has a good defense. But, I mean, they're clicking on all.
We don't know if Watson will play either.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the line is already moving. I mean, if Watson doesn't play, it could be a 50-0 game. Yeah. I mean, that's like they need Watson. I mean, I like DTR. We like DTR.
Well, they signed P.J. Walker. They said if Watson doesn't play, they're going to play P.J. Walker.
Okay, I know, but P.J. Walker is going to start. I mean, P.J. Walker, he's okay.
He's good. I like P.J. Walker, but he's not as good. Like, I know a lot of hate about Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson was pretty good.
He can play football.
He's pretty good. He
can play football. And not who you want your daughter to marry, probably, but good football player.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, should still be suspended, but that's a whole different conversation. Let's get into the Eagles game, because what I took away from that when I've watched the Eagles, yes, they're good. Yes, they're going to be there at the end with the 49ers in the NFC. Like, we get that because their dumbass tush push is unstoppable. The brotherly shove. No one can stop it. It needs to be banned because it's unfair. Play. It's borderline unfair right now, the way they do it. And Lane Johnson's false starting every single snap. And I get it. Like, it just makes me angry that they get away with that. It's like the Chiefs stuff with the refs. Like when the guy took off his helmet and like they didn't fine him. They would fine anybody else but the Chiefs.
Right, yeah.
Like, they're protecting the Eagles now, the offensive linemen, like they're protecting their golden boy Mahomes. And that's fine. That's okay. Like, I get it. Like, protecting the best product, that those are two of the best teams in the league. But at the end of the day, Hurts has looked like a fragment of himself compared to last year. I know he's made a couple of big-time throws, but my gosh, did he get lucky on a couple of those runaways. He should have been sacked 4 times on those
bad tackling
clear outs. Bad tackling by the Rams. And for me, he hasn't been the most impressive. Brown has been very impressive. He's been great.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
But I think the most impressive has been their defensive line. And it's not even the guys. It's the rookie, Jalen Carter.
Oh, my.
We joke and we're like criminal and blah, 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 in the chat. Like, oh, why didn't the Raiders draft? All those jokes. No offense. Raiders always catching shots. But how did he fall to 11? I know a lot of people might be like, well, you know how he fell because he had legal trouble. You know dang well that doesn't matter to a whole lot of teams. That doesn't matter.
If he was in so much trouble, he wouldn't have been eligible for the draft. They would have said, no, you're not being drafted at all. Obviously, he was still available, and the Eagles – look, we haven't heard anything about that legal situation since he's been drafted. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's always been hearing about how elite Jalen Carter is. And how did the league let him fall to the Eagles?
Is he already
How?
Is he already the third best defensive tackle in
Yes.
football behind Hargrave
Yes.
and Donald?
Yes.
Right? Like he's already
he's
entered
pressuring
the
the
league.
quarterback at an insane rate.
I mean, it's not even Reddick. It's not even guys that last year were Davis has been okay, but like it's been Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
He is changing the game. He is dominating offensive linemen as a rookie. I mean, is he going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
He should. He definitely should.
Right?
I mean, maybe Witherspoon.
Oh, Witherspoon's great, but like
still,
Seattle,
Jalen Carter has
Seattle
been...
cupcake schedule. I mean,
Yeah.
Seattle hasn't played anybody. I mean, they play the Rams and they got smoked.
Corners usually don't get the nod. You know, the defensive lineman is.
Witherspoon is a star, though. Seattle's great at developing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like they've always been. That's like the
another
Niners.
star, another Witherspoon that's a star. Akella Witherspoon on the Rams corner. He has one of the highest graded.
He's really good.
Corner ratings.
Rams defense is
he
impressing me.
picked off Jalen Hurts in the end zone, which was
Wait.
horrible throw by Jalen Hurts. But
And let's talk about this too. Tell me about the Rams defense because I was concerned about them.
I think we
And all
both
of a
were.
sudden we got
both were.
Byron Young, we got Witherspoon, we got Donald, of course.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they look like they have a formidable enough defense where they can make the playoffs with the Cup Puka duo on offense, right?
Yeah, they still need an edge. They need an edge defender. You know, they have Byron Young on the left edge. They have Aaron Donald, but Michael Hoyt just isn't cutting it. They just brought O'Shawn Mathis back from the IR. He looked pretty good, but he didn't play enough. Another bad coaching decision by Sean McVay. They have a better secondary than I ever thought. I didn't think Akella Witherspoon was going to be this good. Like, we knew on the Steelers, he had an injury, a hamstring injury. He was really kind of up and down with the Steelers and with a few other teams. The Rams brought him in because nobody really trusted him. And when he's healthy, he's really good. And he's healthy and he's really good. He made an insane pick on Jalen Hurts in the end zone to get a touchback in a crucial moment. So the Rams, I don't know if I can cue it up to Raheem Morris because I really don't like his scheme still. He still plays prevent. He still has Michael Hoyt guarding Goddard in coverage 40 yards down the field for whatever reason. The Rams, they're piecing it together. They're good. They're fine. I wouldn't say they're great yet. I still think they still need to get an edge defender, maybe work Mathis back into it. But the Rams defense, it's far exceeded what I thought it was going to be. I mean, Ernest Jones has been a rock-solid linebacker around the middle. Obviously, Aaron Donald's going to cause a lot of terror down in the line.
And
but,
talk to me about Puka. Let's get back to fantasy
Oh,
here
yeah.
for a second. Because all this, Cup's coming back, Puka is going to be
Yeah.
washed. 20 fantasy points. He scored 20 fantasy points each of the last, 4 of the last 5 games he's played. He's the wide receiver 4 on the season.
Yeah.
23.4 fantasy point average. Him and Cup can each average 20 fantasy points per game.
Yeah. And Cooper Kupp came back and had 118 yards receiving first game, and Matthew Stafford missed a few throws, which kind of cost him the game. Matthew Stafford missed a few throws to Cooper Kupp. Imagine if he hit on at least one or two. He probably would have had 130, 140 yards receiving in his first game back. Both of them, I mean, Kupp had the yardage, Puka had the touchdown over the top. Stafford put a dime on. This duo I always thought was going to work. And they had Tutu at a touchdown as well. All these people that thought, Tutu, now he's not going to get. Tutu's fantasy value is still up there too. He had a touchdown. He could have had 2, but Stafford missed him too.
It's like a Tyler Boyd type on the Bengals now.
And, a lot of people thought that the fantasy value would go way down. Coop and Puka together, they both play different. People always think, they're both slots. No, Kupp plays in the slot. Puka plays on the outside. So even though they're going to be in the middle of the field a lot, they can use them in so many different ways to where they're both going to get theirs. So not just that, Kyron Williams had a good day rushing as well, which I didn't really expect because I figured the Eagles' line was going to be very, very good. He actually got open on a lot of holes, Kyron Williams did, and he still has a lot of scrimmage touchdowns. When they get into the red zone, they're going to give it to him too. So this Rams offense, if you have guys on the Rams offense for fantasy, you're still going to get your points. Because if there's one thing that I can take away from this Rams team over 5 weeks is that their offense is still going to be elite. The question mark is the defense and some of the stuff with the run game and the offensive line, fine. But Stafford's gonna sling that thing. So Kupp and Puka are gonna get theirs. And I figure that timing with Kupp is just gonna get better too. So.
I mean, I think Kupp right now, top 3 receiver
Still,
fantasy.
immediately.
Rest of the season.
Like, just immediately.
Ahead of Devontae. Just because he's a better quarterback.
Devontae,
I love Jimmy G.
I don't know why they're throwing
Jimmy
him
G, but
slants.
Well, why do you think Jimmy G loves to throw Jacoby Myers?
That's true.
What did we say before the
But they're
season?
using Devontae
Jacoby
Adams.
Myers was going to be a fantasy superstar. Lucas, you and me said that. Why? Not a superstar, but a star. Because he's familiar with McDaniels' scheme. So is Jimmy G from the Patriots days. And he's a slot receiver. Jimmy loves to throw to slot receivers. It's perfect fit. So everybody was watching that game, Monday night and was like, well, Jimmy G, what are you doing? You going to throw to Devontae? Like, my fantasy team needs to win. Nah, you better have Myers and Devontae on your fantasy team if you want to produce week to week. Because Myers right now, I wouldn't trade him for – I would keep him. What are you going to get in return? Unless you're getting a Brandon Ayuk. Like, no one's going to trade you Brandon Ayuk for Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is a top 20 fantasy receiver. And to me, Kupp immediately establishes himself because of Jacoby Myers' ascension. I don't think they can coexist as much as Puka and Kupp. I think Puka and Kupp are both top 10 to 15 receivers the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Kupp obviously has more upside. He's done it. He's shown it. He's a crisper route runner.
He's going to be the number one option.
He's the number one option. Puka, but look at all that attention to Kupp. Then Puka's still going to get fantasy points. Look at that touchdown.
Yeah.
Puka's a dog.
They left him one-on-one on the outside.
BYU guys get overlooked, minus Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter. My fault, my brother.
I'm sorry.
He's kind of playing good all of a sudden. I like him. Nice kid, but I want him to succeed. But look at the BYU guys that have been overlooked. Puka Nacua, Fred Warner. Do I have to go on? They overlooking them boys in Utah, man. Provo, Utah. Those Mormons can play football.
They can.
They can play, or the Mormon area. Maybe they're not Mormons themselves, but he can play football there. Now Keaton Slovis is slinging that rock. Remember him?
Keaton Slovis,
BYU,
USC legend.
BYU. I mean, BYU has some guys. Isn't Kyle Van Noy from BYU too?
Is he really?
Believe so.
I don't know.
Brigham Young University.
He did. He went to BYU.
Another great player from Brigham Young University. I think we just got to stop overlooking these guys from BYU, man.
Well, it's just because they're not in a conference. That's why everyone doesn't really pay attention to them.
I want guys with moxie.
That's why
come from nothing.
Yeah, that's why Puka fell to the 5th round because everyone's like, "Oh, BYU, they don't play."
Why do you think Austin Reeves is good in the NBA? That's a whole different conversation. Undrafted, moxie, the Brock Purdy of the NBA. People don't know how to evaluate him. Is he a star? Is he just benefit? That's the same thing. Yeah. Isn't that a great comparison?
That is.
I'm going to give myself a little.
It's actually pretty good.
Austin Reeves is the Brock Purdy of the NBA. No one knows if he's a star or a superstar, or if he's just benefiting from playing with LeBron and Davis and does everything right. He is the Brock Purdy of the NBA. And he could have this same ascension where now we're kind of like, oh, Brock Purdy's the real deal. That's what we're going to say about Austin Reeves. He's going to be the real deal this year. I'm expecting 20 points per game from Austin Reeves, even on that team. Even on that team. He's going to have to carry them when LeBron is taking days off during the season because he's old. He better take days off. In fact, I don't want LeBron as a Laker fan to play all these games.
Who's the LeBron of the Niners then?
The LeBron of the Niners?
Yeah,
Trent Williams.
What?
Yes, because he's elite at 35. He's the best offensive lineman in the league at 35. Trent Williams is the LeBron James of the National Football League. Guy's going to play till 38 and be the best lineman in football. You give him that money. I mean, the Niners line is not a great line top to bottom. He makes it one of the best lines in football.
Oh, yeah. He's so
because
good.
of him. I've never seen a more impactful lineman than Trent Williams in my eyes. I wasn't alive before 99, and I wasn't watching as a baby, even though I was born on Super Bowl Sunday, by the way.
Oh,
January
nice.
31st, 1999. I was actually born on Super Bowl Sunday,
Great.
so meant to
wait,
talk
in
about
99?
football.
I think the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Kurt Warner, I believe. Wasn't that year?
The greatest show on turf? You were born for the greatest show on turf?
Yeah, my dad had to watch the game. My dad
Bowl?
left my mom, while she was, when she's having me.
Yes.
She's like, I'm watching the Super Bowl.
See, so it's destiny that you become a Rams fan.
No, it's destiny that I talk about football and get paid a lot of money to do so. That is what's destiny. That doesn't mean Rams. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it was, wasn't it? Wasn't it against the Titans?
Let's see.
The greatest show on turf.
1999. It might have been the Broncos.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm a year off.
It was Broncos. See? You're off. So maybe I was supposed to be a Broncos fan.
Year.
John Elway, huh? That was John Elway. Who'd they play? The Dolphins?
Wasn't the Packers?
Atlanta Falcons. Choking.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 99. Some things never change. Falcons. Arthur Smith is a catastrophe, by the way, to fantasy football. Let's get into that.
Yeah, can we get into
Arthur Smith, I know you don't care about our fantasy teams.
They won. They're 3-2.
But congratulations.
They just got Van Jefferson.
Yeah, and he won't play.
That's not a good move for fantasy, because now you're taking away even more touches from Kyle
Drake
Pitts.
London. Well, Kyle Pitts, they're throwing to Jonnu Smith.
I
They're not even
know.
throwing to Kyle Pitts.
I feel so bad. Kyle Pitts should be a Ram.
Wait. Coming out of Florida, Kyle Pitts was the second coming of Calvin Johnson,
Dude,
evaluators said. And they don't throw him the football. Drake London is a dog. Trust me, I seen him at USC play. We were at USC at the same time. The guy was a baller. The guy was a stud. Partly. I mean, he was young when I graduated from USC, but I mean, partly. I was there when Amon-Ra was there. Amon-Ra was around the same age as me. Amon-Ra I knew was a dog too. Let's just say it. Dog. And that's not DAWG. That's DOGG type of dog, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's got the Snoop Dogg approval. Yeah. Those guys are elite. Man. Snoop Dogg actually loves Amon-Ra St. Brown, by the way. And I'm sure he loves Drake London because he's a USC fan. Yeah. So, back to it. That was a little off topic. Hope you guys like our rants. But
of course they do.
Atlanta Falcons wide receivers cannot be trusted in fantasy football. That's why I said before the season on my TikTok, you know what? Drake London. Oh, should I draft Drake London in the 5th round? No. Oh, why? Well, he's good. He's not going to get any looks.
Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder sucks. He's the worst quarterback in the National Football League. I know he played well last week. Congratulations. Give him a medal. You threw 330 yards against a terrible team. Who'd they beat?
The Texans. Is that who you're talking about? The Falcons?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Texans.
Overrated team.
Oh, what?
Overrated
Over
team.
CJ Stroud?
Stroud's great. The team is not ready to compete yet. They had a great first 3 weeks.
DeMeco Ryans?
DeMeco's, look, trust me. I'm a Niner guy. You know I love DeMeco.
They're 2-3. They should be 0-5 right now.
Yes.
2-3.
Okay, yes, but I'm saying Atlanta should beat them. Well, Ridder should cook those defenders.
Should he?
Wasn't Stingley hurt? Is he even playing?
I'll take C.J. Stroud over Desmond Ridder. That's why I kind of had the Texans winning this game. I have no confidence in Desmond Ridder to get the ball to anybody.
I have confidence in that.
He barely even got it to Bijan Robinson on that flip.
I have confidence. Yeah, Stingley didn't even play, bro. That's why they're cooking those defenders. Stingley's one of the best corners, young corners in the league. He didn't play. That's why everybody's cooking the Texans defenders right now, except Trevor Lawrence.
Well, they're not ready yet, but they're so much better than I thought.
Trevor Lawrence, kryptonite is the Texans. Trevor Lawrence walks in. I mean, he turns into Zach Wilson against the Texans. What is that? And then against the Bills, looks like the second coming of Jesus. Besides the 2 fumbles, Lawrence, I mean, and my boy ETN. Oh, we'll get into my boy ETN. Nothing more. I need to get myself an ETN jersey. Nothing. If you follow my TikTok,
he's been on him since like the early last year.
What did I say? Christian McCaffrey 2.0. That's my guy. Different type of guy, but like fantasy superstar type. Like, I know he's quick, explosive. The guy is a beast. Buffalo had a top 5 run defense, and he had 38 fantasy points against them. ETN, stop with the hate. Sure, he's going to have some games, 8 fantasy points, 10 fantasy points. Heck, Christian McCaffrey had 13.8 fantasy points last week.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to happen. ETN's a baller. But back to the point. Falcons, Ridder, terrible. Don't trust receivers for Atlanta. But Bijan Robinson, superstar.
Oh, yeah. Trust him.
Trust him. Is he already the second best fantasy running back?
Who's first? McCaffrey.
Yes.
I'd say so. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Just on a week-to-week basis, I would say ETN's up there.
Yeah. Breece Hall.
Yeah, but that was against Denver. He's not going to do that against Philly. He's
Hall's
great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, but it's predicated on the passing game. Can Wilson be consistent? That's my reservation on Breece Hall.
Okay.
Why do you think Isaiah Pacheco is dominating?
Oh, dude. Well, because he's a dog.
Yes,
his feet don't stop.
Yeah,
when he's down.
He's great, and he has Patrick Mahomes throwing. So that's going to open up the run game. Zach Wilson's no Patrick Mahomes. He played better. I do like Breece Hall, but if we're looking at I'm looking at the top 5 guys. It's Tony Pollard's in there. I know he played bad against San Francisco. He's elite. Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, Eckler when he returns, Saquon. Because they're like,
I have to throw Pacheco in there.
Pacheco's top 10 right now, and Pacheco's going to look like think who's the most dominant athlete you can think of in the history of sports?
In the history of sports?
Yeah.
Shoot, Bo Jackson.
Okay, Isaiah Pacheco's going to look like Bo Jackson.
No, but his mentality running-wise is like Bo Jackson. That's how Bo Jackson used to run.
He's going to get almost 200 yards rushing against the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Short week, get him a cortisone shot, 200 yards.
Chiefs, Broncos?
Yes.
Oh, my
Prime time games.
Why do we do this all the time?
By the way, another piece of advice. I know I've been talking too much. I'm going to have you give some advice, Grant, too, because you're a genius when it comes to this stuff. I will say this.
I love all this stuff you're saying.
Thursday, it is a risk to start anybody. DJ Moore produced last week. How many guys have been elite on Thursday Night Football?
Nobody. Nobody's good ever.
Only
on
the Niners will be
games
good when
year.
they play Thursday Night Football because they're just the Niners. Or the Eagles, right? Like Jalen Hurts will play well on Thursday Night Football with his little brotherly shove at the 1-yard line.
I hate it.
I like Jalen Hurts as a person, though. Great dude.
Of course.
Let's talk about that, though. let's take away from fantasy for a second. You were at the game. You saw a tattoo, an excellent tattoo, by the way, and you saw some Philly fans you were not fond of.
I have a new most hated fan base, just based off of my experience alone. I've gone to plenty of Rams games. I've been to plenty of Clipper games. I've been to Laker games. I've been to Dodger games. The Eagles fans were some of the worst that I've ever interacted with, and they got to a level where they made it personal with people. And I don't respect that ever. Like, when you get personal with somebody just based off of what team they like, I just think that's ridiculous. You know, going at family for liking another team or your rival is just completely ridiculous. And Eagles fans, you know, they're very passionate. Say what passionate. The Sixers fans, they're so passionate. Phillies fans, they're so passionate. There's a difference between being passionate and being an ass or being very mean to somebody. And the Eagles fans were very obnoxious. They were mean. They were rude. They didn't care about anything. And I just don't understand how you can get to that. Here's another thing. We have to stop fighting at games. We have to stop fighting in the stands.
Not in general, but yeah, at games for sure.
I have seen so many videos online about people fighting over football. A man passed away because somebody fought him.
The Patriots game.
We have to stop that. Why are you fighting over something that you can't even control? Like, you're not throwing the football.
Trust me, we get it more than anybody.
I am very frustrated. I'm always frustrated at games because my teams don't really win that often. But
hey, you have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. The Rams
how many
are the
Super Bowls I have in my lifetime?
The Rams are the only team that hasn't let me down.
How many Super Bowls do I have in my lifetime?
You got the Lakers in 2020.
Okay.
In 2010.
A COVID ring.
In 2009.
I was about 10 years old.
I know.
Let's be real. I mean, my team's – and let's not even bring up the baseball team.
I'm not bringing it up.
We're not bringing it up.
We're not bringing that up.
Joe Lakeup, please save the Angels. Hashtag Joe Lakeup.
But my point is that I've seen so many NFL games this year where fans are fighting each other and it's getting violent and for no reason at all. We don't have any control about what they're doing. Why would you fist fight somebody over Brock Purdy or over Jimmy Garoppolo or over Jalen Hurts? It doesn't make any sense. We got to stop fighting at games. So that's the second thing. The first thing, I want to go back to the Eagles fans thing. I know they came out and they represented their team, and I respect when teams come out and travel well and they show out. That tush push thing, people wearing shirts with tush push on it with the formation, and it's going to be banned eventually. That shirt's going to be obsolete. So why are you even wearing it? Everyone knows that play is almost highly illegal. Like, it's just like you're grabbing someone's ass and you're throwing them over the line. How is the formation even legal? First of all, someone's going to get hurt. Second of all, it's going to be banned at some point. So all you people, saying, oh, here it comes. This is what they were saying. It was 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Here it comes. Everyone look. Here comes the tush push. The Rams actually stopped it late in the game, so they're kind of the first ones to stop it.
No one's ever stopped. That's like 99.9%.
But I'm so sick of that play. I'm sick of the play. I'm sick of the Eagles fans. They're my number one most hated over the Yankees. I used to hate the Yankees. I mean, I still do. But I used to hate the Yankees more than any other fan base. Nobody could trump it. Now, seeing it like in person, you've heard stories about Philadelphia fans being obnoxious and going to Lincoln Financial Field and they're just throwing stuff at them. I've seen it firsthand now. They're up at the top.
I just don't like
They're
disrespect.
up at the top.
You know me. How many times have I...
They brought family into it. I don't take that.
No, but it's all about respect. You have to have respect. Look, if the Niners won a Super Bowl, I would never rub it in. I would. No, I wouldn't.
If I were you, I would.
I'm not like that. When they beat the Rams, I didn't text you, the Niners. I'm like, the Rams played a good game.
I was so emotional that I didn't even think about anybody else. I thought about what just happened. I think that's probably how you would be.
I think there's respect. Like, okay, yeah, we beat the Cowboys' ass. I actually don't love the fuck Dallas thing that George Kittle was wearing.
Really? You don't like that?
I don't like it. I'm like, you beat their ass. No need to wear it. Like, that's just my opinion
So
on
you're
that.
more about, like, show it on the field other than...
I'm all bark, no bite. No, I mean, I'm all bite, no bark. No bark, no bite. All bite, no bark. My fault. I got my analogies mixed up. All right? I know. My two schnauzers, Charlotte and Speedy, would be upset with me. They'd be upset with me for messing that up.
That's all right.
But I digress. I agree. It's about respect, dude, at the end of the day. Like, Like, to me, there's like a certain way baseball should be played. There's a certain way sports should be played. Like, there's a maturity. You're a professional athlete. And I'm not saying this is for George Kittle, because I think that's part of his brand. He's going to be a WWE wrestler. So he had to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I love George Kittle. Great guy. Great for the game. It's not for him. I'm saying in general, fans in general, people in general, respect is key in my world. When you win a championship, it's about grabbing that beer with your friends and be like, look, we just won a champ. It's not about screw the other team. It's not, who cares about the other team?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the Bengals.
Like, who cares,
yeah, I wasn't
dude? Like, to me, I care about my team. In fights, man, it's like, dude,
I don't get
it. I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, you know how many times the Niners have choked a big game? Do you see me fighting people?
Well, most of the time, though, it's alcohol-driven, but most of these fans that I interacted with, they didn't even seem intoxicated. They were just obnoxious, just sober.
That's what.
And let me say this, too. I went to the Niners game at SoFi, week 2. There are Niner fans all around me. You know, they're loud. You know, they're doing their thing. The guy next to me, he was from Bakersfield, went to the Niners tailgate. He spilled my drink, right? And I was kind of mad about it. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. He went to the bathroom, came back with a full drink for me. He bought me a drink.
Wow.
Out of respect, because he knew that he...
Yeah.
Even Niners fans to Rams fans, a heated rivalry. They don't like each other. Niners fans were even respectful to Rams fans. And I didn't see that from the Eagles. And I couldn't
And look, there's bad apples of every fan
of
base.
course.
Let's be
there's
real.
bad Rams fans.
Bad Niners fans.
You know.
Like, there's bad bad Lakers fans.
Yeah,
you
all
love
of
to
them,
say
all
that.
of them.
Hey, except me. I'm great.
Oh,
I'm a great
no.
Laker fan.
Hold on.
Hey, I'm a real Laker.
If the chats leaked, we would be in prison. That's what I would say. About his Lakers.
Lakers Nation, because I've told you 1,000 times, this isn't even a basketball podcast. We're going to get to the basketball podcast. But the Lakers run the NBA, the best organization in the world, the biggest organization in the world. It's like, you hate to say it. Like,
I do hate to say it.
I
really hate to say it.
The Cowboys run media for NFL.
Yeah,
it freaking sucks. And they suck. At least the Lakers have some titles to back it up recently. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of what I get why the Lakers are hated. Like, it's like Dallas. But except the Lakers have won. Right? They've gotten to the Western Conference Finals. I can't remember. I don't think I was even a thought in my dad's mind when the last time the Cowboys even got remotely close.
94.
Yeah. That was 5 years before I was born, bro. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Even close. Like, at least the Niners have been to Super Bowls and conference championships and all that.
Hopefully I wasn't a thought. Otherwise, my dad waited 5 more years to have a baby with my mom. That wouldn't be good. It's like he was thinking about it for a long time. That would mean we have a history of not pulling the trigger, not doing something when we're thinking about something. The Deutsches are men of business. We get the job done. Wait 5 years. That wouldn't be good. So I hope I wasn't a thought.
Wait, I know we're going to switch gears on this. I want to talk about the Lions real quick because
talk about it.
Because the Lions blew out the Panthers. I know it's the Panthers. Oh my
David
God, whatever.
Montgomery too.
But the Lions are for real, guys. Like, they are actually we've said this for months and we said this in the offseason that the Lions are going to be better. We said it. I think we even said it like after they won that game last year in the last week of the season. They're 4-1. I'm going to say this. I think they're the best team besides the Niners. They're better than the Eagles. I'll say that right now.
I think so.
I think the Lions are a better football team than the Eagles. I know they're 4-1, but they look so good, and they're getting better. Like, the first 2 weeks, okay, a little bit iffy. Their offense was shaky. Jared Goff had a little bit of a rough stretch, but now they're getting it together. I know they played the Panthers, but to put up 42 points for an offense that a lot of people were kind of questioning, they're a really good football team. I think they're second to the Niners. I don't know if they'll challenge the Niners because I'm just going to have to see how the season progresses, but the Lions are a juggernaut. They are a good team. Dan Campbell has those guys flying around. What do you think about the Lions?
I mean, first off, I'll say this. If the Niners get the 1 seed, the rest of the NFC should go home. I mean, I hate to say
I
it.
think they're going to get the 1 seed.
The only time they would lose is if they go to Lincoln Memorial, right? Like, if they go to Philadelphia, like, they could lose. That's a tough environment to play in. I can't wait. I don't care about Week 13. In fact, I don't mind losing that game as long as we still get the 1 seed.
The Eagles game?
Yeah, I don't care. As long as we get the
Philly?
1 seed. Yeah, it's in Philly. I mean, sure, it's a revenge game. Just no one get hurt.
Yeah.
The revenge I want is in Santa Clara NFC Championship game. I just want to see the Eagles fans' faces. I want to win that game so bad. That's possibly not a bigger win than the Super Bowl, but you get what I mean.
Yeah,
There's
I know
levels
what you
to
mean,
that. But I will say this, Detroit, like, if you're telling me, like, someone has to, like, if the Rams get a wild card and they have to play Detroit or
They're out.
Philly, who would you rather play?
I'd rather play Philly. Honestly.
Detroit is like they don't lose. Goff is Goff.
They're getting
have you seen
better.
Goff's numbers in Detroit.
They're getting better week in and week
And
out.
by the way, Goff's like a 20+ fantasy point quarterback right now.
You
talk about Brock
I
Purdy,
subbed
how
him
he's
in,
been
and he got
good.
me 33 fantasy
He's
points.
great, and I think it's predicated on the run game too. David Montgomery's been excellent.
Yeah.
He's running through the tackles. Sure, we love Jahmyr Gibbs as
Yeah,
a
I
talent.
know.
They're not using him, but again, like, do they need to?
They got Jamison Williams back, right?
But Jahmyr Gibbs can't run through the tackles like
Yeah.
David Montgomery. Montgomery is a
Montgomery's
bell cow
a-
running back.
he's
Like
a
he just
beast.
runs up the
Yeah.
middle, and he's huge. He's jacked, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Penei Sewell.
Gibbs is like a versatile. He's like a playmaker.
Yeah.
They need to use him more like but I would say Deebo Samuel, but he's not even close to being as big as Deebo Samuel.
know.
He's a little frail. I hate to say it. He needs to get a little bigger too. But Jahmyr Gibbs is a great player. They have that. They have Jamison Williams who just came back. Josh Reynolds has looked like was he ever doing this on the Rams?
Maybe
Grant?
for like a couple weeks, but not like consistently.
Goff
like
liked
this.
him.
Yeah,
I mean,
Goff
that's
loved
why
him
he
when
was
with
brought
the
over.
Rams. Yeah,
By the
I
way,
was
Jared
like,
Goff kind of doing it, man.
kinda. He is doing it.
Yeah, but I still don't trust
Brock
him.
Purdy
I still
and
don't,
him,
I
MVP
still don't trust Goff in a playoff game on the road.
On the road, like in a cold environment,
Yeah,
like a Philly,
dude,
or, you know.
I mean,
He was always bad in cold weather. I would.
and he was
know.
always bad on the road in big games. Always. Like always.
Played the
bad on
Packers ass. Played the Seahawks. He was okay, but their defense carried him. It wasn't.
By the way,
him.
that's Thanksgiving game. I'm kind of worried about as a Niner
Who's that?
fan.
Who do they play?
Seahawks, Lumen Field.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Short
fun.
week.
That's gonna be
Short
really fun.
week.
Seahawks too, kind of underrated because
Seahawks are
they had a bye week. They're a really good football
Are
team
they the
as well.
fourth best team in the NFC?
Yes, I think so. The Cowboys just fell so far down for me. Like I'm gonna. Oh man, I don't know if I should say this. The Rams are gonna beat the Cowboys in Week 9.
Where is it?
It's in Dallas. I don't care. I don't care where it is.
Rams aren't winning that game.
Why not?
I just think Dallas is a good. They like win games. They're a weird team. They win. The Rams could win.
The Rams. It's basically another home game. SoFi Stadium is indoors on turf. It's the same environment.
I just think the
Rams can beat the Cowboys in Week 9.
Yeah, they can. I don't think they will. I don't want to take a bet on that.
Noted. Look at this.
I just think the Niners are just elite. I think the Cowboys are still good. They're just like a tier
no, I'm
below.
not saying that they're a bad football team. I said they're fifth
But
in the NFC.
I mean, if you
They're
look at the
top
analytics,
five.
the Rams played the Niners tougher than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants played the Niners tougher than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
I know.
the Giants made it.
That's so
Giants had them on the
embarrassing.
ropes for a half.
That's so embarrassing if you're a Cowboys fan to see that. Like the Giants, who have been absolutely
Wait. What about
terrible.
all the hype leading up to that game?
And
to lose 42
on
to 10.
prime time, and your quarterback
Oh
those
my
3
gosh.
picks, and
he said he wouldn't throw more than 10 all year.
he already has what 5, 6?
Yeah.
I don't know what he has.
I don't know, but I don't disagree with that. What I will say is Amon-Ra. People forget. I have people in my live feed saying, should I trade Amon-Ra because he missed 1 week? People are recency bias.
Yeah.
Best advice I can give in fantasy: patience wins championships.
Yeah, it does.
Think about strategically who is going to be on your team in week 15, 16. They playing the Texans run defense. They playing the Chargers run defense. Are they a running back? Are they a wide receiver playing Indianapolis? Because Indianapolis is BBQ chicken in their secondary. Chicago, Minnesota. Who are they playing in those weeks? Because we're playing for championships.
Yeah.
We play right. Like yes, there's some luck involved. Guys need to stay healthy.
There's a lot of luck involved.
There's a lot of luck. Fantasy football, like we give advice, we do our best, based on stats, based on game logs, based on matchups, defense, all of it, right? But if guys get hurt, you can't win championships. It's happened to us so many times. It's happened to everybody. But if guys stay healthy, you need to be thinking about strategically who can be there later on in the year. That's why you don't just trade guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver.
Oh yeah.
Maybe top 5 if we're just pure talent. Like he's a slot receiver,
Especially with
so
the emergence of that offense.
half the time. I mean, he's in the slot half the time. They
Yeah.
put him everywhere. I mean, he can be in the backfield half the time too. Like it doesn't matter with him. But he is excellent. David Montgomery, the rest of the year, I like him unless he gets hurt. Josh Reynolds, I like.
Yeah.
You can start him in flex week to week basis. I mean, he's producing even with Jameson. I mean, until at least we see more of Jamison Williams. And Goff is great. Detroit defense has been underrated.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Why did the Jaguars take Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson?
Trayvon Walker had an okay rookie year though. I mean, he just hasn't been as good as Hutchinson. You know.
I get drafting like the Myles Garrett type, or
Yeah.
like Tyree Wilson. That's
Yeah.
what the Raiders drafted instead of that's who. I mean, I think he'll be good, but
I wanted to ask you a couple questions because
Yeah.
I know you're up to speed on this. You probably have it just logged in your head. Justin Jefferson's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
yeah,
The Vikings, are they going to do a fire sale, do you think?
yes.
And
Kirk Cousins is going to be a New York Jet.
ooh, I love that. That's what I was looking for. Really?
Kirk Cousins will be a New York Jet.
Oh, okay. I love
That
it.
just has to be.
Does Justin Jefferson get traded?
No.
Because he hasn't signed his contract extension yet.
Doesn't
He
matter.
said already, I want an elite quarterback with me.
Who are they going to draft?
Exact-
Caleb Williams?
Well, they have to tank like that. They have to get rid of Kirk Cousins if they want to. Because Kirk Cousins, he's a decent enough quarterback to win.
It's not
them
just
some games.
decent. Kirk Cousins kind of getting disrespected.
No, that's what I'm saying.
His
Like,
defense sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, you put him on the Niners. He wins like 3 Super Bowls. over the
Danielle
past 4
Hunter,
years.
you are a Los Angeles Ram, buddy. Pack your bags.
Pat Surtain, you're a San Francisco 49er.
Oh, no, don't do it. No.
Need an extra corner.
So, like, is there somebody that, like, you can, because I know a lot of people are probably going to ask you on your TikTok and stuff, who would you replace? Like, I know
Jefferson
you
would.
can't replace him, but, like, who would you
I mean,
pick
I
up?
get
maybe,
these
like,
questions a lot. I think Jefferson is a guy you hold if you can't get an elite guy. Like, for me, it's about value. I'm never selling at too substantial of a low. If you can get Devontae Adams, if you can get Keenan Allen, if you can get a package of like Ayuk and Raheem Mostert or Ayuk and Mixon or like Waddle and Pollard, Pollard and Amari Cooper, not Pollard and Amari Cooper, but Pollard and Waddle. Like if you get 2 great guys or 1 elite guy like Hill, Kupp, like I'd trade Jefferson for Kupp right now because Jefferson's gonna be out 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You could lose all 4 weeks and be out of the playoffs.
Be out, yeah.
Like this is
week
this
5,
is urgent.
like,
It's week 5. Like this is playoffs
Well, actually,
starting
week
about
6.
I mean, yeah,
Week
week
6.
6, week 7, maybe by the way we're gonna get clips up in these next 2 weeks. But like for me, you hold because there's a slim chance Kirk Cousins stays. Like let's say he stays. I know it's a contract year. If he stays in Minnesota, Jefferson will come back, right? Because they'll be somewhat competitive.
Yeah, I think
he'll
so.
want to play. He's a gamer. He doesn't like to miss games. He hasn't missed a game yet in his career. This will be the first game he misses.
Crazy.
So, and by the way, I might be a sidekick. What did I say? Why I wouldn't draft Jefferson 1?
Oh, the injury risk. Didn't you say that?
I said he's not hurt yet. That makes me
Yeah, you
suspicious.
did say
I
that.
said he's going to get hurt. I said I hope he doesn't get hurt, but I said he's going to have an injury. He just plays. The thing is, he's so highly utilized.
Yeah.
Why do you think Amon-Ra's?
Well, I mean, you're going to throw
Amon-Ra's hurt every 4 weeks. He misses a game with a hamstring.
Or an
Because they
ankle
throw
sprain
him.
or something.
They tackle him like he gets like 14.
He's like Kupp last
He's like
year.
Kupp, yeah, Kupp. Nakua eventually will be like
I know.
that too.
He's already been hurt. He's been beat
He's
up a little
bleeding
bit.
all the time,
Yeah.
like because they're always tackling. I mean, football is a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: you can get someone elite or a package deal, like a package Ayuk and Waddle, Ayuk Pollard, Ayuk Mixon, Pollard Mixon, Pollard,
And-
Pollard Waddle, Pollard Ridley.
Yeah.
Guy like you need 2 really great guys or 1 elite guy like Kupp, Adams, Keenan Allen, right?
And then how about Devon Achane, because he is hurt too. He's going to miss multiple weeks. He hasn't gone on IR yet, but everyone inserted him in the starting lineup. I did, and now he's
great.
hurt. He's been awesome,
great.
and now like I'm left with the void.
You got to think
Like,
about
what
it
do
from
you
their
do?
perspective too. Why would they rush him back? Because they're going to make the playoffs.
And Jeff Wilson's going to be activated. That's
Yes.
somebody that you could pick up.
And Raheem is great.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert's great.
In Dynasty Leagues, Achan's untouchable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Raheem's 31, Jeff Wilson's getting older.
Yeah.
Achan's the future running back.
Oh, yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
he's the guy. I mean, the guy only needs 10 touches to get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he's great. How do you
Like for the
replace
time
him?
being, like, because it's tough. He's not going to miss.
You
like,
have to hold him. Who are you going
Yeah,
to
you
trade
have
him
to
for?
hold him.
I mean, they say 2 weeks. Like, you got to hopefully bank on that. Look, I thought Kupp was going to miss the whole year because I thought the Rams would tank. They turned out to be good. Of course, they're going to bring him back if they're good.
Yeah.
We got to think about these things. Achan is good, but it's also the other side of the spectrum, right? Like, they're going to make the playoffs. They don't want to rush him back,
Yeah.
right?
He's
like,
such an integral part of what they do too. Like now he is.
I mean, plus you got him off waivers if you did get him or you
Yeah.
traded for him. So it's not like at the end.
Well,
the end
I
of the
didn't because
world.
I watched Fantasy Files, which you guys should too. Subscribe and like.
We
drafted
said
him.
Achan would
I
be
drafted
the guy.
him. I had stashed him on my bench.
By the way-
One good week, you're in.
By the way, that preseason Lucas, me and you podcast, even though I know the quality video was like
Literally
kinda off,
everything we said was right.
probably the it's gonna be it's like going down in history as one of the most
Jean,
accurate fantasy
Achan,
files.
like
pod.
maybe the one guy we were off about was Tank Bigsby, but that's just because ETN's
I
a
didn't
beast.
say Tank Bigsby was any good.
Me and Lucas did because we both liked him.
Haters. ETN's a superstar. I'm gonna
Well, not
stand up for
that.
my
We just
boy.
thought he would be a good handcuff.
If what's that meme? If I have one call in prison, it's going to Travis Etienne Jr. If I have a god, it's Travis Etienne Jr. What is it? If I have one, if I'm drunk on the road, no one to call. I'm not calling my girlfriend. I'm calling Travis Etienne Jr.
Because he always comes through.
Because he always comes through. Always when it matters. Always. He's a superstar.
What's that?
He's a superstar. He's a superstar. And guess what? Big games, he only gets better. Only gets better. You feed him in big games. He played great against the Chiefs. Played in the playoffs. They didn't want to. Played great against the Chargers. They didn't even feed him much against the Chiefs because it was like they passed a lot. I don't think Doug Peterson uses him enough.
No, I know.
They use Tank Bigsby sometimes at the goal line. Otherwise, Travis Etienne would be the undisputed RB2 behind McCaffrey.
It's like you have Travis Etienne, but your Etienne is my CMC. And there's this funny thing. It's like, who is CMC? In geography, my world. In history, my king. In math, my solution. That's my CMC is like he's God to me.
My 14-man league. It's like the Niners. If we don't win it's over. I have CMC, Etienne, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence.
Ridiculous.
So it better win.
And it's funny because like Brennan mentioned CMC, like, oh, he only had 14 fantasy points. That's a bad week. And I was like, 14, I'll take it.
He's had a touchdown. You want to hear something? I posted this on Pickswise the other day.
Follow Pickswise, by the way.
Social media coordinator for them. We have a great team there. But if you rolled over $100 and took the winnings of each week and put it on CMC touchdown from last season to this season, 14-game win streak, over $166,000. He scored a touchdown in 14 straight games. 14 straight.
Aren't they undefeated in the regular season since he came there?
And they're undefeated when Brock Purdy's finished a football game.
And they would have beat the Eagles. I know you hate.
Someone is
they
starting
would have
to
beat
say,
the Eagles in the NFC Championship. You
so?
hate to admit it, but they.
Oh, don't tell me that because we would have won a Super Bowl.
Well,
don't tell me that.
Maybe Chiefs are pretty good.
The Chiefs would not have beaten the Niners.
You're right. Phillip Rivers would have played in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, he would have.
Phillip Rivers would have
dominated. He would have said, "Guess what? Guess what? Who's the most accurate sniper in the world?" Did you get that comment?
He's like old Brock Purdy.
You didn't even get that comment.
What did you say?
I said, "Who's the most accurate sniper in the world?"
Not
his arm.
He has 10 kids.
Maybe,
not 11,
not
12.
these two arms. That's for sure. I mean, that guy. Guess what? Mailman delivers.
Yeah, he's clutch.
Delivers.
Yeah.
Has he ever missed? His wife says,
No.
"I want a kid." I mean, he delivers. Bam.
You got it.
There. I mean. Already in
Hall of Famer.
I mean,
Charger legend.
That would have been like the best story in NFL history.
That would have been awesome.
Best in NFL history.
Well,
like Phillip Rivers.
If Purdy wins it this year, it's another great story. Like
Purdy's story is already great.
Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl
Purdy's
champion
already,
in a year.
And the hate he gets is crazy. I've never seen someone more hated than Brock Purdy.
Shout out to all the people in my Pacific chat, my Pacific baseball chat. It's only me and Henrik, who is a Niners fan. There's only a few people that really
hates Brock Purdy.
Lucas hates Brock Purdy.
Says Trey Lance is
Everybody
1,000 times
in that
better.
chat. Oh well, Josh Allen can throw the football 80 yards down the field. Does he win?
Look.
Not really that much.
Look. Moxie matters. Lance, when it's nut cutting time.
Brock Purdy's a truth.
When it's nut cutting time, Lance hides in the corner. There's a thousand quarterbacks like that. When it's nut cutting time for Brock Purdy, he's like, look, I've been with my high school sweetheart since 16, whatever. No distractions in his life. Drives a Honda Accord.
No, he
lives
drives
with his roommate.
Brock
right?
Purdy drives a Toyota Sequoia.
My bad. I thought it was a Honda
He splits
Accord.
rent with his roommate, who's an offensive
He's been
lineman
with
for
his
the
girlfriend
Niners.
since 17. He's not cheating on his girl, for all we know. I mean,
he's like the Kawhi Leonard of.
Well, Kawhi Leonard was caught at the strip club. I don't think Purdy's caught at the strip club.
But his first couple years, he was driving a 90s Chevy Tahoe.
How many championships did he win since he was caught at the strip club? There's levels to this. How many championships does James Harden have?
Oh, God.
And how many strip clubs has that man been to?
A lot. That's why you want to go back to Houston.
By the way, shout out Tony who saw somebody at the strip club on Saturday night that we will not name. That we will not name.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, what I will say is CMC, GOAT, ETN, GOAT. Last segment here. Let's give our winners and losers for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Here. Let's start off with, for me, this is going to be a hot take for some. Zay Flowers. Now, I know he dropped a few passes. He's facing Tennessee this week. Who's he facing the following week? I think who's Baltimore play after Tennessee? Because I know we're going to get content up like this if you're listening this is for the next 2 weeks. Baltimore schedule. Who do they play after Tennessee? Well, let me just say this. They play the Lions. Okay. Yeah, 2 defenses that he can cook. And Zay Flowers, I know he dropped a few passes. Really a great game against the Steelers. He's been excellent all year.
Yeah.
He's also on my bench in that 14-man league.
Well, he has to. Everybody.
He can't play. Yeah, again, he can't play over Olave, St. Brown, Ridley. I wish I had Ayuk back, man. Kind of wish I kept Ayuk instead of traded him for Ridley. I mean, Ridley's better, but like Ayuk is might be my favorite player, man. He's like
Well, you were on him way early. You were on him.
That's been my guy. And next year he's gonna have that Justin Jefferson ascension. He might be the best receiver in the league soon.
Really?
Purdy, have you seen Purdy only targets
I've seen
Ayuk?
Purdy.
Yeah, he only targets Ayuk when
It's like Stafford and Cup.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is. Like a Niners.
You know
version.
why Ayuk only got 10 fantasy points last week? Because he threw to Kittle 3 times, the other 3 times. And third and Juwan.
Here's I'm gonna say a guy, and there's no bias here. Like I'm telling it like real. Like Matthew Stafford, week 6. If you're gonna pick a guy up, they're playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't really have a good defense. Stafford's been pretty good this year. I think he's available in 65% of leagues right now.
Yeah.
And he's actually still been a really good quarterback. He's top 10 in QBR, top 10 in passer rating.
I like him against the Steelers too.
Both weeks.
Week
I
7.
think that he's going to be a good pickup if you need a quarterback. Say Deshaun Watson goes out. Say if somebody gets hurt, somebody is playing a good defense. I'd say pick up Matthew Stafford. James Conner is going to be out for a few weeks. I don't know who you can pick up, or maybe I don't know
whatever
about
his
that.
name is.
Yeah, whatever his name.
DeMercado.
Yeah,
he's pretty good. But I mean, that's like a 2-week rental. I don't like. By the way, anybody trying to pick up DeMercado or did. Hopefully, you didn't spend too much of your budget if you're on FAB because, I mean, he's only a 2-week rental until Connor comes back. But, yeah, Stafford's a great pick. And Purdy, like we said, is Purdy a top 10 quarterback the rest of the year?
Yes.
Winner.
Yes.
Talk about BCB. We won't say what that stands for. Use your imagination, just like Phillip Rivers probably had to do at some point because he got too tired of making babies. That just went through your head right there.
Sorry, I was looking at KJ Osborne because that's my next winner.
Hopefully he was thinking about his wife. It's a joke. But, see, we go into all this stuff here. I'm not afraid to say anything, man.
That Phillip Rivers one was insane.
Was it insane?
That was crazy.
I'm off the
I
rails
love it.
with
No,
it.
but I love that. I'm posting
say.
this clip.
I'm gonna say what I say, dude. I'm unequivocally me. If you don't want me for who I am, you don't deserve me. It's the same thing with you.
That was hard.
Like I'm just saying, like everyone's trying to be something, say crap, say this, say that. Like at the end of the day, I'm Brandon Deutsch, you're Grant Mona, and that's all who we're gonna be. We're not trying to be anybody else. Like come on now.
And that was something that somebody brought up to me recently. Is like, oh well, lying sells, or not being yourself sells. Like it gets views. I will never do that. I will never do that. I am going to tell it how it is, how I see it, how my eyes see it. That's how we're going to see it and how we're going to say it.
Exactly.
So like I don't care about these people making fake videos for likes and views. I know our views aren't that great, but they will be because people love real and we give real content. So I'll just say that.
People love consistency, persistency, and excellence, and correctness, being accurate.
Like
we're accurate.
That's why I love doing this because I get to say how I feel, how I actually feel, what I see.
And there's people that resonate with us that feel the same way. Sports fans know a lot and just are tired of hearing all these people say crazy stuff instead of real stuff. It's all fake. Let me go back to the winners and Zay Flowers. I'll say it one more time. Zay Flowers, Tennessee is going to be great. I know he had a couple drops against Pittsburgh, and he's going to be great against who they play the following week? The Lions. Lions are beat up. Brian Branch still dealing with that injury, but he'll play probably. Is he or is he out? Brian Branch? Is he still out?
I think he's still out, isn't he?
Even if he plays, I mean, because he's legit. Snap count notes. Like, he was on a snap count. Like, even if he plays, secondary's a little beat up. I still like Zay Flowers in that game. He's Jackson's number 1 wide receiver, so he's a winner the next 2 weeks. Another guy, Ridley. Indianapolis, week 1, Calvin Ridley.
That's a great
100 yards and a touchdown in week 1 against Indianapolis. Plays Indianapolis this week. Following week, they play not the Niners yet. I can't wait for Jags-Niners in week 10. New Orleans. And everyone's going to say, oh, he's not going to do well against New Orleans. I've been more impressed with New Orleans' pass rush this year than their secondary. And they're supposed to have a much better secondary with Lattimore and all those guys. But Cam Jordan is still that dude. He is still that Cal. Didn't he go to Cal?
Yeah.
Cam Jordan. Cal. What about Cal? Marshawn Lynch, Cam Jordan, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Shout out Aaron Rodgers. Jalen Brown. Yeah. They don't teach how to dribble with the left hand.
Yeah, not a Cal.
Not a Cal.
Stay tuned for Baller Sports Dialogue because we may talk about it.
Next up. But Ridley, I think he can have seven receptions, 8 targets, 17 points. The vertical threat matters, and Lawrence is reaching his stride. And it's an excellent sign that Ridley went off against the number 1 passing defense in the league. I know they didn't have White. He got hurt, and that's a big loss. White is amazing. He's amazing. We get that.
And they lost Matt Milano, too.
Yeah, in that game. But Ridley was already going off before that. But still, Ridley is going to torch over the next few weeks. I don't like him against San Francisco, but I like him about everybody else these next few weeks. Travis Etienne, another winner. Lock it in. Like, don't think twice. Doesn't matter who he plays. Winner of the week. Loser. 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 What do you want? You want to take a guess on this?
Loser. Somebody that's playing against the Niners.
No, that's an automatic L if you're a running back. Except Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
Kyron Williams actually torched.
That's a winner. If you guys can, he's
Derrick
King.
Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Loser. This is why. Didn't love what he did against Indianapolis. 13 carries, 43 yards, three receptions, whatever, 9 fantasy points. Baltimore, ever since they got Roquan Smith, their defense has been nails. I mean, that's a Super Bowl contending team just on their defense and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and all those guys. Bye week, whatever, week 7. We'll go into week 8. Atlanta, another good run defense this year. Surprisingly, one of the best run defenses in football so far this season. Atlanta's a playoff team so far.
They've been
even without a quarterback, which is crazy. But screw Arthur Smith because of our fantasy teams. Derrick Henry's a loser from week 6 to week 8 because he's off in week 7. I don't see him replicating this 25 fantasy point game against Cincinnati. I know he's Derrick Henry, but he's not going to be playing the Chargers and Bengals every single week. He's a loser the next 2 weeks, but he's a winner when it comes to playoff time. You have to hold him. Playoffs, he plays Houston, Seattle, Houston. 2 of the worst run defenses in football. Houston and Seattle.
That's very smart.
I know Houston's been overachieving defensively. D'Amico's excellent defensive acumen, but still, loser. Another loser. Unfortunately, this is a guy also on your team.
It's all right.
I hate to say I'm looking at Grant's team right now.
It's okay.
James Cook.
Oh, God.
I love James Cook, but -4 rushing yards.
Dude.
-4 rushing yards.
Bad.
The target share has been okay, right? Three receptions, 25 yards last week. Talent-wise, he's great. Buffalo, Josh Allen takes away so many runs.
I know.
Buffalo's offense thrives when he's throwing the ball down the field. There's no point in running up. I mean, -4 yards on 5 carries against Jacksonville and only 29 yards rushing against Miami the week previous. Yet to eclipse one time he's reached 100 yards rushing against Raiders, who have one of the worst rushing defenses in football. Okay, that's why Dylan went off. Your boy Dylan finally went off. Miracle.
I had to put him in. Aaron Jones was out.
Oh, you had to, right?
Yeah, I had to.
Aaron Jones
it helped. I
dominated
won.
the Raiders. But New York Giants, okay, he could be good in that matchup. But in fact, you know what? I'm going to retract my statement because the Bills will probably be up 40-0 and he'll have to run.
Well, yeah, but I see why you would say.
But I'm going to go the following week 7 and 8. I don't like James Cook. New England, I think they changed some things up defensively by that time. I mean, they can't keep going down this path. I think they're going to be much better defensively when it gets to that, even without Judon or Gonzalez, whatever. 2 big losses. Belichick, wizard defensively, doesn't know how to coach offense. We get that. And then Tampa Bay, who's been great against the run.
Yeah, they actually
better than anybody thought. I know DeAndre Swift cooked them. Other than that, they've been pretty solid against the run. Kamara did okay, but that was a lot on receptions. Kamara's more versatile. Yeah. They're not great against versatile backs. James Cook, yeah, somewhat versatile. I don't think he plays well those 2 weeks. Those are any winners or losers for you?
I'm going to say, well, just for the next week, Deshaun Watson against the Niners. Even if he starts, don't start him.
Jerome Ford against the Niners,
yeah.
Loser. Jerome Ford, saved by 2 touchdowns a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would not have.
Well, they got Kareem Hunt, too, now. So.
Okay, congratulations. Neither of them are doing anything against the 49ers. And who do they play in week 7? Browns? They have a divisional game in week 7. They have a divisional game, correct? No, they play the Colts.
Well, the Colts are kind of good.
I don't like Jerome Ford against the Colts. I don't like Jerome Ford right now. I don't. I think Amari Cooper is going to do great against the Colts, but I don't like Deshaun Watson. I agree with you there. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else you're thinking of off the top of your head?
Anybody against the Chiefs' run defense? Because who is it? Javonte Williams for the Broncos, because the Broncos play the Chiefs.
He's hurt too.
Yeah, but I think
he's coming off of injury.
I think he's going to come back, but I don't like him against the Chiefs with Chris Jones down there. The Chiefs have actually been a great defense. Like, that's the thing. Last year, they weren't that good defensively, but excellent offensively. It's kind of flipped. They haven't been that good offensively because of Bieniemy leaving, and now their defense is actually pretty good. I would sit Javonte Williams against the Chiefs.
Easy sit. Easy loser this week.
Honestly, almost everybody on the Broncos.
Yeah.
If you're maybe like Javonte Mims or like Sutton.
If you're starting anybody on the Broncos, pray to Jesus this week.
Jerry Jeudy, all those guys.
Jerry Jeudy, cryptocurrency.
Oh my
He's
God.
the new Myles Gaskin.
Oh, Gaskin.
The new Myles
Somebody
Gaskin.
picked him up, actually.
No, Right? I
Myles
thought he was out of the
Gaskin.
league.
No, somebody signed with the. I think it was the Panthers.
Is Bitcoin making a comeback?
No, it's not. Crypto sucks.
Okay, Jerry Jeudy's either the guy talent-wise should be a top 10 receiver.
I know.
And they never throw to him.
They're throwing to Mims and Sutton more.
He throws to Sutton.
Yeah.
Sutton is the most boring receiver I've ever seen. He just runs routes and he's like slow compared to Jeudy.
Oh.
Jeudy is so crisp at route running. They just never throw to him.
Well, it's Russell Wilson.
Judy's a loser against the Jets.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
real. And Sutton's a loser against the Jets. And they're losers the next 2 weeks until I
Russell
see stuff
Wilson.
from them. Russell Wilson's been okay,
He's been
actually.
okay, yeah.
And I think he'll run a little bit more against the Chiefs. Another guy I was going to say, loser. You want to take a guess? Brian Robinson Jr. I know he got shot.
Yeah.
Excellent comeback. I mean, it's
Well,
incredible.
he was
even-
actually good the first couple weeks.
I
of the
know,
year.
but last year somehow he played 3 weeks after
Yeah.
being shot, which
Yeah.
is great. I mean, he's a dog for sure. I mean,
he
that's
came back
crazy.
before Kendrick Nunn.
That's crazy.
As people would say.
Since playing the Broncos, which everyone has gone off against, besides take away that game for Brian Robinson Jr., that was 29 fantasy points. He hasn't had over 13 ever. And it's not like Gibson's getting any touches. Maybe as a wide receiver, not as a running back. So, Atlanta and New York. I don't even trust him against the Giants. I'm sorry. What did he do against Chicago? 10 yards. You know
Oh,
how concerning that
boy.
is? Chicago has one of the three worst run defenses in football. He had 10 yards. 10 yards. 10 yards. Let that sink in.
What about Gibbs?
Brian Robinson's an easy sit the next 2 weeks. Loser. I hate to say it. Respect. Winner in life. Winner in life. Loser in fantasy football.
Wasn't it? There was a stat like the Commanders threw like 30.
Well, they were
passes
down.
in a
yeah,
row.
but before that, he wasn't good.
Yeah, even
wasn't
before
good.
that, he wasn't playing
He wasn't
that well.
playing
They were
well.
giving it
They
to
abandoned
Gibson.
the run game. Congratulations.
Yeah.
He still didn't. He wasn't good before. Wasn't good before. Another guy, Michael Thomas, loser. Michael Thomas has not been great this season.
I thought he would have a pretty good year, but that offense is just a mess with Dennis
For
Allen.
me, I consider a winner 12-plus fantasy points. You want to guess how many times Thomas has had 12-plus fantasy points? Once, 12.5.
Yep.
Every other game, close.
People are
11,
like, "Oh, he's
11
back, he's
9,
back."
10. Olave is that dude. Olave
Yeah,
is the
Olave's-
winner. This man has boomed 0 out of 5 times if you look at the analytics. So he's a loser to me. T. Higgins is another loser to me. At some point, he's going to go
I took him
off.
out of my lineup
At some point,
already.
he's going to go off. But, I mean, 4.1 fantasy points, 3.9 fantasy points. Seattle, like, yeah, maybe. But, I mean, the way Jamar looked, why wouldn't he throw to Jamar? And then Bye in San Francisco, I don't trust him against San Francisco. I'm sorry. Loser. Loser, 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 loser. Josh Downs, winner.
Yes.
Josh-
You put me on to Josh.
Josh MF Downs. All right.
And with Gardner Minshew throwing, not
Oh,
Anthony
who loves
Richardson.
him? Anthony Richardson is allergic to passing to Josh Downs.
know
It's
why.
hilarious. But, I mean, that was his boy. They were out in the parking lot right after
Yeah.
the draft throwing, and all of a sudden he said, you know what? Maybe he slept
Well,
with his
it's kind of a
girlfriend.
weird stat that every time Richardson is out, the Colts win. Like they've
Yeah.
won every start that Gardner Minshew has been in there.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Anthony Richardson's looked good, though.
I love
He's a good.
A-Rich.
He
People
needs
know
to
that.
Stop taking hits, though.
I
He's
know,
already
I
the most
know.
injury-prone
Yeah, I know.
quarterback
He's
in
been-
football.
He's going to be out for a long
Look at
time.
this. Two
Maybe
games
Gardner Minshew start him.
against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, Downs. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he'll play well
The
against
Colts,
Jacksonville.
I mean, I don't care what you say.
That's gonna be a close game.
Yeah.
that's gonna be a close game.
Colts are frisky. They're a frisky
Jacksonville's
team.
been excellent against the run the last few weeks. Not great against the pass.
No.
So Gardner and Josh are both
Yeah.
winners
Yeah.
this next 2 weeks. I mean, he's playing Jacksonville and Cleveland. Cleveland, excellent run defense, abysmal pass defense so far this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock better throw for 300 yards. McCaffrey's got to be just on halfback slip screens in
Yeah.
that game because Cleveland's run defense behind Myles Garrett has been excellent. Like, they've been just balling, okay? But Josh Downs, Gardner Minshew next 2 weeks. I mean, Josh Downs is a lock it in at the flex.
Mhm.
I mean, even if it's 9 fantasy points 1 week, I can see him getting 15 plus on both weeks. He got 16. I mean, look at this. The game he's played with Gardner Minshew, he's had 6+ targets in both, 12 in one and 6 in the other. And that was after Richardson got hurt. He got 0 with Richardson, all
Oh,
6 in
boy.
the second half with Gardner Minshew. So, I mean, for me, Josh Downs is a winner. And if we're looking at losers, I would say you're gonna like this one. Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Well,
I know he's playing
don't-
the Chargers.
I mean, that should have been a given.
Statistically, no, Chargers 28th in defense
I
against the
don't care.
pass.
It's Dak
Not great,
Prescott.
but it's Dak Prescott. He's playing the Chargers, and then who? You want to take a guess who he's playing after?
Is it the Eagles?
He has a bye.
Is it the Eagles?
Already brought it up earlier. He's a
Oh,
bye.
it's the Rams, baby,
Yeah.
with an excellent secondary.
Chargers,
Well,
those
excellent.
LA
a good
teams.
secondary.
Those LA teams. Cowboys might win those games, but it won't be because of Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
It's going to be because of
the
Tony Pollard and
defense.
defense, if
Yeah.
anything. Dak Prescott is a safe on the bench. Don't know why you drafted him. I mean, unless you were blind, that's a point. Like, if you were blind, I get it. You know, maybe you were scrolling, right? You can't see.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott shows up. You pick him. But if you were cognizant, why would you have drafted
Or you had a
Dak Prescott?
Cowboys fan do your draft for you.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even good last year.
No.
I mean, in big
But he was
games.
horrible.
He was
at-
horrible.
he led the league in interceptions.
I mean, he's getting to Jameis level.
Yeah, it is.
At least
huh?
Jameis had a better arm. I mean,
Well, at least Jameis had 30 touchdowns. He had 30 touchdowns and 30 picks, but at least he had the
Did you
touchdowns.
see Jameis come in the game the other week? And
Yeah, he just
throw up
launched.
Jets should get Jameis.
I know they should have got. Well,
That's
Zach Wilson's
crazy.
he's playing better. So.
All right, and then we'll go. I'll let you go in a sec, but I wanted to get one more loser in here. You want to take a guess? Another.
I'm done
loser.
with my start sit-em. So
Really?
it's all on you.
Garrett Wilson, loser.
Yeah, well,
I hate to say it. Zach's at quarterback. Philly.
Dude, that's such a shame.
He's gonna see ghosts against Philly, and then who do they play after that? They have somebody else.
Oh, they play Philly.
And then they play bye week, and then Giants.
Well, that.
What did he do against Denver? One of the worst pass defenses in football, even with
Not
Surtain.
much.
8.4 fantasy points. Wilson's safe
not-
on the bench these next 2 weeks. Sorry, guys. Last winner here before we wrap up. Jacoby, that man Myers.
Jacoby Myers, slant
I
boy
mean,
2.0.
The only time he's had less than 7 targets, 6-7 targets, has been with Aiden O'Connell.
Mhm.
As long as Jimmy G and his handsome self are on the field.
The new Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, yeah, that's his Brandon Ayuk.
Basically,
Slot,
yeah.
go there, go right behind the linebacker in front of the corner. He's like Nakua, bro. He
Yeah,
just throws to him
kinda
right
is.
there. He's like both slot receivers.
Yeah.
So we thought JSN should have been is Jacoby Myers. I mean, Jacoby Myers is a must start the rest of the season. He's an absolute winner the next few weeks. Anything to add before we wrap up?
Go Rams, baby.
I don't care if the Niners go 17-0 until they get that Lombardi Trophy without Steve Young or Joe Montana. I'm a little concerned. By the way, shout out Rex Ryan, Common
Yeah.
W, standing
Common
up
Rex
for
Ryan
Brock.
dub.
Common Rex Ryan Dub. I mean, Dan Orlovsky. Come on, bro. Like he's saying, Mac Jones would be Brock Purdy if he was in. I mean, are you kidding? I mean, I don't want to demean him. I like some of the things he says. I mean. You must like what he says.
I love Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, why? Because he's a Stafford, you know what, writer.
What do you
He loves
mean?
he thinks Stafford's the second coming of Jesus.
He is. Stafford
Is Stafford a top 10 quarterback?
Yes. He's a Super Bowl champion.
He is a Super Bowl champion. He played excellent in that postseason.
He's been playing fine this year. It's just that Kyron Williams doesn't know how to use his hands. That's accounted for 3 of the
thinks
picks.
Matthew Stafford is a top 5 quarterback all
Some
time.
of the balls that Stafford has been throwing to these guys
Some
are
of the balls
money.
he
They're
has.
money.
What about the balls he has? Stand in the
Yeah,
pocket
he's
and
nuts.
throw.
Cojones.
His cojones, yeah.
Moxie.
To beat the Niners, you got to have cojones.
Well, they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Not this year, at least.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to our almost 2-hour special, a little over an hour,
Yeah.
Fantasy Files pod. Thank you guys so much for being your co-host, Brandon Deutsch and Grant Mona.